Hi there, and welcome to my ICT Hub, where we make ICT concepts easier. This is John, your ICT tutor. Today we'll be looking at data manipulation, IGCSE ICT 0417 October November 2024 paper 2. This is where we'll be focusing on. So we're using this paper as we explain through data manipulation. Basically, data manipulation, like we know, it's about databases, where IGCSE is going to be testing you on your ability to use tables and its features, testing you the ability to use forms, the ability to use queries, and lastly, your ability to use the reports. All of these make up the object of a database. If you want to know more, you can watch my previous videos on database and you'll get full details about that. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into this. Alright, here's the question. IGCSE October November. The database is on page 6. So let's quickly go down there. Alright, task 3, database. It says dates must be imported in the format day, month, year. That's DMY. So we'll take note of this. I'm going to show you what this means once we get to that point. Now, using database, because you have to set your date format that way. Using database software, import the file N2402 students.csv as a new table. Okay, so I'm going to be using Microsoft Office Access 2021 version, beg your pardon. Right. Okay, so that's it. I want to start out on a new, let's call that October November 24. Okay, that's my database name. And once again, to import, you can either right click from here, go to your import option and import a text file. Remember, it's a CSV file, so it's a text file. Or you go to your external data, your menu, click here, and we have text files. Whichever way that works for you. Then we want to browse to where the file is located. The file is located on the desktop. I have October, November. Okay, students. So here we have students. Let's open it up. Okay. Next, still leave that. It's a CSV file, command separated values. Check on this for the first row to be taken as the field names. Please always remember to check on this part, do not skip it. Then the next part is where we fix our data types. Let's check back on our question. It says, use these field names and data types. We've picked the field names from the first check. Now here we have our data types. We have text for the first 5. Here's the first 5 is text. Here we have DMY. Okay, now before we go through, let's quickly check on that DMY that was set at the beginning. We click on advanced. And here the date format is DMY. Okay, because there are other formats which you could actually use for the dates, but since we specified DMY and DMY has been selected here, so if you don't have DMY selected as date, month, day, month, year, please make sure you change this to DMY. Then you can move on. Okay, so I have my DMY there. So the first one we have short text, the second short text, third short text, fourth short text, and the fifth short text. And the sixth where we have our dates. Yes, we have our date and time. Let's look at other formats. We will do this when we get into the table design. We have text to number and then text. Take note here we have text. Here it is number. Access to this as number, but you should always be very careful to take note of the data types. This is supposed to be text. I'm going to go with short text and not the integer that was selected there. So we have the short text, and the next one is now the number, which is the integer. And lastly, we have a short text. Yes, number. So technically, if you don't use this as short text and you just assume because it's numbers, you forgot to change your data type to short text, it might import with an error. So please always remember to do that. Take proper note of how the tables are structured or how the question says you should import the data. Now here we want to select primary key. So set roll number as primary key. Okay, so where's my roll number? Here. Okay, then that's primary key. Next, and let's finish. Okay. Table is in. So let's double click to see the table in datasheet view. Now let's finish up. We go back to our design view, click here home, design view, and let's ensure that the date and time is in the format which is requested. With me, okay, I'm gonna adjust my screen for date and time. here the format should be, okay, now I want to zoom in a little bit so you can see closer what I'm doing. Okay, now this is 15 November, the medium date, because if we check from the example in the question, it gives us an example of that, which we can confirm. Let's confirm that. Look at the question, we have 12 August 24, so that's the format we picked, and this is an integer which has been set to that. Okay, just before we move on, we have to place. Haven't done that, save the data. Let's save it. Let's check back. Okay, let's ensure the date. Yes, the date is ensured date. The phone numbers are fully displayed. Okay, that is done. Now place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the field names, the data types, and the primary key. Field names, the data types, and the primary key. Alright, so now let's get the evidence documents. Let's go back to Access. Okay, we have to do, okay, here we have this fully displayed now. Let's get the sniping tool. Okay, let's get a new. Please take note that you must display the three things: the field names, the data types, and the primary key. It's important those three things must be evident in your evidence document. So let's have that here. I want to paste it there. Okay, the header is somewhere here, so I want to push this down. Okay, good. Yes, everything is fully visible. Let's go back to a question as we continue. Now the next question says import the file that's N2042 degrees.csv as a new table in your database. Okay, so let's go back to import another table. Okay, let's go back, right click, we want to import, and I'm going with text. Okay, let's browse. We're going to be taking degrees, so this degrees, open. Okay, first we have that selected, then we want to pick on this to ensure data type. Now let's check if we were given any data type for that. For the degrees table, yes, we were given the first three text. This is number. So we have short text, and short text. Good, and we have a number integer. Let's move. Sorry, that was too fast. Okay, so here we have the long integer. Then we have text in the next three. Text, and short text. Good. Then we have number. So it's a decimal, so that should be double, exactly. So that's good. And the last one we have the Boolean, which is yes or no. So click on this and you want to go with the yes or no option. Okay, so once you're done with that, let's click on next. Now the next thing is to choose our primary key. So for the primary key, it says set subject code as primary key. So I want to locate a subject. Where's my subject code here? Okay, subject code. Okay, there you are. Subject code as the primary key. Okay, let's move on. Then we finish up with this. Okay, that's. Now let's change this back to datasheet view. While we open the new table, the degrees table. Yes, here it is, but take note that it's from the question. It says this should display as yes or no, and this should be one decimal place. So let's go back and go to our design view. Let me start with the number here. It says one decimal place. So you want to change this to fixed. Can I zoom in so you can see what I'm doing? So here at this format, you want to change this to fixed so that even if it's 0 point, it still shows the 2 decimal places. Then you want to set this to 2 decimal place. So let's change this to 2 decimal place. Okay, sorry, that was 1, not 2. All right, I think it was 1, not 2. Yes, 1 decimal place. Then for the yes or no, it should be displayed as yes or no. Should be displayed as yes or no. So to make that display from checkbox, you go to the lookup here. Field properties. You want to change this from the checkbox to combo box. Okay, let me zoom down a little bit. Combo box. Once you've done that, you can save it and let's go back. Yes, so we have it fully displayed this way. Let's go back to our question. It says save the data and place in your evidence document the screenshots showing all field names, data types, and primary key used in the table. The three again: field names, data types, and primary key. So we want to go back to our design view and get my sniping tool for the screenshot. Sorry. Okay. I have to go back first to this before I use the sniping tool. Okay, now let's get the screenshots showing the field names, the data types, and the primary key. Okay, once we've done that, let's go to our evidence document and let's paste that. So that's the next evidence. Okay, let's move on to the question. Next question says, create a one-to-many relationship between the subject code, the field in the degrees table, and the subject code field in the degrees table, and the course code in the students table. All right, to create a relationship, let's go back here. Let's change this back to I want to go to our database tools, click on relationship. You can pick your tables from here, or if you don't have this displayed, you don't need to bother, right click and show tables, and it will populate out there so you can pick it this way. All right, let's double click to ensure everything is fully visible. All right, now the question once again says relationship between the subject code in the degrees table. So we want to say subject code in the degrees table and the course code in the students table. Here we have the course code in the students table. Okay, very important. Please can I zoom in for you to see? Here we have the course code. It's important that you take note that it has to follow the order in which the question says. It's moving from the subject code to the course code. So you click on the first one and drop it on the second one. Now you have the one-to-many relationship. Just before I leave this place, let me check the question. Okay, yes, there's always an evidence document. So place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the one-to-many relationship between these tables. I have to first create this, then you come back and double click on this, because if you just do a screenshot of this is not showing of this view alone, it's not showing the type of relationship. It's important that we see this one-to-many relationship. So you can have this way. Now let's get the sniping tool. Let's pick a new screenshot. Okay, yes. Now let's go drop that in our evidence document. Next evidence. Okay, that is done. Okay, let's go back and let's accept this. Now let's go back to our question to continue. Yes, the next question says, using fields from both tables, produce a tabular report. Now which selects the record. Now we have to read through all of this. Selects the record where subject includes the text organic, age, October 24, is 25 or more. Then we have shows only the fields first name, last name, date of birth, DOB, telephone, age, 24 duration, degree code, subject, and work expression in this order with data and labels displayed in full. Do not group the data. Sort the data into ascending order of degree code and sending into descending order of degree code, I beg your pardon, and ascending order of age code. Now has a page orientation of landscape, fits on a single page width and prints on 2 pages only, includes only the title, mature students studying organic farming, displayed in a larger font size, fully visible and centered within the margins of the top of the page. Take note of these instructions. Now uses a calculated control to display at the end of the report only the age of the oldest student from the age of field. Now has a label age of oldest student fully visible to the left of this value and has your name center. Okay, so now how do we go about this? To start with, this is like a whole holistic question. First, we want to make use of our query. Now, it's not always necessary you have to go to query, but query is mandatory when you need a new field. But it's also important to use a query because it's much easier to find these required fields when using the query than just going directly through the report wizard. So to find these required fields, let's go in and let's start with a query. So you want to create, use a query design. The query design or the query wizard. Okay, then we pick the tables we are using. Here we could also run a criteria in the query. But nevertheless, you can run the criteria both in the query and in the report view, but it's important we use the query because it makes it more visible and easier for us to see these fields. Now let's go to the required fields. We start first. We said it shows only the fields first name, last name, DOB. So we want to, please permit me to zoom in so you can see everything I'm picking. So we have the first name, double click on that, it's going to drop. We have the last name. Okay, we have the DOB picked. Then the next thing we have the first name, last name, DOB. Then we have the telephone, we have age code. So we want to pick on the telephone. Okay, then the age, okay, pick on that. We're also picking on duration. Duration should be in this table. Okay, then we'll also be using a degree code, subject, and work experience. So we get the degree code, the subject, not the subject code, just the subject, and lastly the work experience or something. All right, so we have all of that displayed in there. Just drag that so we can check it through. Yes, it's all displayed. So let me turn off the zoom and let's run it to take a look at this. Okay, we have, yes, fully displayed all the fields the way it should be. Now let's move on. The next thing in the question then now says we need to, after picking this, we need to look at this criteria. It says subject includes the text organic, and this is 25 or more. I'm going to be using the design view to write this now. And once again, I might need to go a little bit closer for you to see how I'm going to be writing the expression for this. Now it says subject includes the text organic. Now organic is, let's confirm, yes, includes the text organic. Right, so it's part of a field name, not a complete field name, since it's including a text organic. So in this situation, it's not starting with organic, neither is it ending with organic. It includes a text organic. So we are going to be having the asterisk around it. Then we're also going to be using the like key. Like is used with text. Whenever you're handling text, you use the like command in this aspect. So we use like with the text, and in this situation, because we're also trying to get something that looks like organic, so we use like and we use asterisk organic and the asterisk. So let's locate the subject. Please, can I zoom in again for you to see clearly? So we want to find the subject field. Yeah, so under the criteria, we're going to be using like, for my quotes, asterisk. Then we have the organic, asterisk, and close the quotes because it's part of, it's going to be, it includes the text organic. And the next thing, okay, that is accepted. We want to go to the age to 4, sorry, and that should be back here. Okay, here it is in the criteria section. It says it's 25 or more. So that means greater than or equals to 25. All right, once we are done with that, let's run it to see what it looks like. Okay, we have, yes, 42 records has returned. That means the filtering has been effected. So let's save this query. We'll save it as students query or something. Okay, so I've saved that query. Here I have my query. And this is not where I'm ending. Remember, we are to create a report. So now let's move over to the report view. So let's create, and let's go to a report under the reports wizard. Now we are picking from the query students. We have all the fields. Remember, it should not be grouped, so we are going to be making use of this. If you make use of this, like you can see, it's going to be grouping the data following this particular fields. But with this, where you have all the data expressed, none of it is grouped, none is sectioned in a different part. This is what you want to use. Do not group the data. The next, the same thing. Here, I don't advise you use this part for your sorting because it's going to disorder, it's going to scatter the arrangement of these fields which you have selected in that order. If you use it here, I'm going to show you where to do it when we get to the report. So we click next. Our orientation was landscape, right? Yes, we have orientation of landscape. So it's a tabular report. We want to select nice landscape here nicely and click next and let's finish. Okay, here we are. It brings us to the print preview. Let's close the print preview. Here we are on the design view. I like working on the layout so we can see what we are doing, all the data. Okay, let's close this. We don't need this for now. So we don't forget, the next thing we want to go back to is our sort. It says sort into descending order of degree code. So I want to do that first. You go to your report layout design, and here you click on your group and sort. I told you I was going to show you where to do that. We add sort. So the first sort says we are going to be sorting. You see that? So let's sort by the degree code. Okay, so let's have a degree code. Yes, and we are sorting in descending order. So the first one is ascending, while this is descending, Z on top. And the second one says we are also sorting ascending order of age 0 to 4. So you add another sort. We want to add the age. Where is that? Okay, here it is. And that is going to be in ascending order. Okay, the first one. So once you are done with that, just click on this tool again, not closing it. And we are done with that sort. So the next thing in the table we want to do is to ensure that it is all fully visible. Let's try and rearrange all of this. Okay, first let me start from the left because you can see hashtags here. So to do that, you can either click and just drag this way, but make sure you check through to ensure nothing is trimmed, or you can hold down your shift key and use the arrow keys to move it that way. I kind of like using my shift key. It's easier for me than clicking. So here again, I can move this in, hold down my shift key and the arrow key. That's the right arrow key. Bring this in also, move it. Use the shift key when you want to resize. Let's check through, then I can resize. Let me check through again to ensure nothing is trimmed. Okay, it's all visible. Good. Then I can pick the DOB, bring that in. Once again, I want to hold down my shift key. Yes, bring it in. Okay, let's check through. Yes, it's all visible. Good. You need to do this quickly under exam condition. You have to be very quick with this. Try and adjust the phone numbers. Yeah, the phone numbers are all the same size, so I can easily bring this in without checking. Then I have my next field name. Ensure they're all fully visible. Okay. The age. Then I want to pick this. Age at 2 digits. And I have this. Okay, yes, and I want to pick this. There's 1 decimal place. So I know it's just 2 digits. I want to reduce the size of this. Bring it in a little bit. Sorry. Okay, now let's check through. Do we have anything? No, they are all very small values. Okay, so, and let's now move over to the last. Okay, now this is quite long. The subject. So I want to bring the subject, field name there. Then I'm bringing this in to ensure everything is fully visible. Okay, let's check through now. Just a little more to ensure everybody is fully visible. Still have a little more. Let's check through. Okay, yes, it's fully visible, but it's overlapping with the last field. So we need to edit on the last field where we just have yes or no. I'm going to pick this and I'm going to reduce the size, then pick it back. Same for this. I don't want it to overlap the broken lines. Okay, so this way I'm sure now everything is fully visible. So we could go through no overlap. Okay, yes, you can see I noticed a little. Okay, that was a close one because it's not overlapping, it's fully visible. Yes. All right, so we are good to go. And the next thing we want to check in the question is the title. Now we've done, let's just check through. We have this, we've done orientation, we've done the sorts, fits on a single page, and let's see if single page wide. Okay, let's just take a look at if it's 2 pages. Let's see a print preview. Here we have the first page. Yes, it's just 2 pages, so we are okay. Let's continue on our edit work. And the next thing to do now is include the title, this title, displayed in a larger font size, fully visible and centered within the margin. Okay, take note, if you look at this title now, it's not centered. So first, in my layout view, I'm going to place that. After placing that, then you want to move it. You can use your arrow keys again. Make sure it is centered. Okay, that's perfectly between the 2 margins. Then we go to the next thing that says, use a calculated control to display at the end of the report only the age of the oldest student, only the age of the oldest student from the age oct field. So let's look at the age oct field. Here we have the age oct field. Remember, I'm still in my layout view. So you can right click from the data there. Sorry. Right click from data and you want to go to the total. Now, if it's asking for this oldest student, that means that's going to be the student with the highest age. And so we are going with the max here, which selects max. If we check down there, yes, and that's the age displayed there. Okay, the next thing I'll say is we're going to say check on that equation that is used. That has the label age of the oldest student fully visible to the left. So to do this, you have to go to your design view. It says a label. Even the statement that said that has a label, the label. So you want to look for the report design. Under your controls, you're looking for label, not text box. This is it. So we want to place it beside it here. Good, and drop that instruction. All right. Once we're done, I think that's good. We can go back to our layout view to take a look at that. Yes, that's it to the left of that. Now, has your name, center number, and candidate number in the footer of this report. I like to make this a little bit more interesting. Make it bold. You can at least make it align it to the right. Okay, so it's closer to that. And okay, that's about it. Then the next thing is how to insert my name, your name and center number. We go back to design view. We don't need this. Take out the page numbers. You don't need this. Take this out also. Then you want to get a label and place it there at the page footer, not at the report footer. At the page footer, you have your name. That's my name. And then my candidate number. All right. Let's go to our print preview to take a look at that. Right, so everything is fully visible. Yes, we have my name at the end of the document. Let's go to the second page. Yes, my name, we have age. All right, and everything. Let's take a look again. Yes, everything is fully visible. A little overlap here, but I think it's ignorable. But if not, you could just, let's go back to the layout view and see if we could just move it a little more. Here, my layout view. I still have a little space to play about here, so I could just bring it backwards. Yes. And bring my subject code to the middle. Okay, yep. So if I check through now, it is obviously standing separately. No overlap. All right, so that's good. Then now let's say save and print your report. But before we go, it's a place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the database formula used to display the age of the oldest students. So just before I do that, let me go to my print preview. If you're done with this, I could just print this out in a PDF format to ensure that I change to my PDF and print it out. Okay, give it a name, so on my desktop. Let's call that printout 2. Okay. So I'm sure that has been printed. Now let's go back, let's close the print preview and get the equation. If I go to my design view, all right, the reason why I had to print that first because I'm going to distort this so that it can fully display the equation. Now let's go closer so you can see what we need. Let me zoom in. I have to expand this a little bit. Okay, now you can see we have something else. You can want to take this out, because basically the expression is just needs only the max. Take out the last bracket there. Okay, now this is the expression which is necessary to give you the maximum value in this field. So let's take a screenshot of that. Let's take it with a zoom for my sniping tool and take a screenshot of that. Yes, and let's go to our evidence documents to drop that. Okay, that is, I like it when it's more visible for the grader to easily see what you have pasted. So that's the expression that is needed. Let's go back to a question. All right. You don't want to do that. Okay, so now once I'm done with that, let's go back to my print layout view to take a look at this. Here you can see that's moved it. So let me reduce the size back, sorry, and return it back to its location and save that report. Now, let's move on to the next. We are not done with the question. make sure the formula is fully visible. Good, that's what I did, extending the formula so it can be fully visible. Now you are now going to create a data entry form. The form will contain a field with a drop-down menu for the user to select an option from a list. Now that means we are creating a form with a particular feature, which is the drop-down menu. Now data from the selected option will be stored in a field in the students table. So let's see how the question is going to guide us, prompt us through what to do. Now let's start with creating a columnar data entry form using selected fields from the students table. Okay, we needed to be tested on this object of database, the forms. So we come down here, we want to use the form wizard. Now we are using the students table, so we want to select the correct table. That's the students table. Yes, this is the students table. Now what fields are we going to select? We are selecting the roll number, the first name, the last name, and the gender. Can you see that? Okay, let me zoom in for those using mobile devices. So we want to pick first on the roll number, the first name, the last name. Then we're also going to be selecting the gender. Yes. We have the DOB. We have telephone. And then we have the email. In this order, okay, with data and labels fully displayed in full. Alright, so we click on next. We are using a columnar data entry form. Click on next. Let me take away this zoom now. Okay, I think then we can finish it up there. So there we have our form. You notice it's quite big. First, we have too much space at the title, then all of these sizes. So let's try to edit them properly. Let's quickly go to our layout to save your time. You can go to your design view. It's a very quick way. Design view helps you to get this. First, let's reduce the size of this. Okay, I can't find that, so let me move this down. Yes, so I can reduce the size of this title. I'm picking it instead. Okay, let's reduce that. Good, then I want to reduce the size back. Yes, now I could click a box on all of this so that I could reduce the sizes together. Okay, use the size to this. Good. Then I want to move them up. Okay, once I'm there, hold down my shift button, pick on this, move it up again. Hold down the shift button, pick on this, and move it up. Okay, good. That's a good one. Let's move down to take a look at what the other fields there. Right, we have this. So basically, let me just pick everything here. Let's move it up. Good. Then this last two that are quite big in size, let's reduce them together. Good. Then I want to pick this two and close it up on the form. All right, and I'm not done with that. Now it's kind of too long. The length is too long for the data that will be containing it. So let's try to bring that size in something like this. I think we have subject as part of it. Okay, I want to pick first let me pick out the page out before I can reduce. Sorry, I was picking the whole thing instead of reducing the size. Once again, I'm doing the same mistake. Okay, yes, now reduce the size. Perfect. Okay, now let's take a look at it in the form view. Yes, so we have a perfect form there created. Yes, everything is fully displayed. Right, a subject, email, we don't have subject, which is the longest part, but I want to increase this just in case we have an email that is long. Let's go through. Okay, so far I think we are okay with that. Now let's go on. Save this form. Yeah, I'm going to save this form now. All right, it's been saved. Now place in your evidence document screenshots showing your form with a record record. Now any record, not any specific record from the database. So let's take a screenshot of that. Let's go to the sniping tool. Take a screenshot of that. Okay, very good. And we go to the evidence document to drop that there. Yes, the form has been taken. Let's go to the next question. Now showing your form with a record which has been done. But we are not done. The next thing says import this file country code.csv as a new table in your database. Select ISO code as the primary key. The structure was not given, so we're just going to follow whatever Access speaks as the structures. So for table, I right click from there, go to import text file. I want to pick the country codes. Yes, that's country codes. Open that, bring that in. Okay, click on next. Remember to select the first row. Now the data types we are not given, so we follow whatever Access speaks. Now we're setting ISO code as the primary key. Click on next, and then you want to finish. Good, it's in. Let's take a look at it. All right, here we have it here. We've done that. On the form, created in step 17, create a new control using a drop-down menu which has been, a drop-down menu which lists each ISO code from the country. I beg your pardon, country codes table. Okay, so we want to use the ISO from the country code table as the data. Place this control between the DOB and the telephone fields. All right, so let's go back to our form. We had a form. It's going to be coming between the telephone and the DOB. So I could go to my layout view. Easily pick this. Sorry. Okay, hold down my shift key to select model. Oh my God. All right. Confirm that, and let's move that down. Okay. But we have to go to our design view to be able to insert. Please, you don't insert any of this in your layout view. Now in the design view, we want to insert a drop down. So we go to the form design, and the drop down is, take a look at it. That is the combo box is the drop down. The combo box is what you use as drop down, not this. This is a list box, but here we want to use the combo box for the drop down. So you select on that, place it in the right place with the others. Okay, good. Now it starts with this. The first instruction asks that where do we want to get the fields from? So we want it to be gotten from another table, like the way the instruction said. You are not entering your code yourself. So it's going to be coming from the country code table. Yes, then we want to pick the ISO code. Right. Next. Then let's check, is there any information about the sorting? Yes, it says list displays in ascending order, as ascending alphabetic order. So I want to still pick the ISO code there. It should be in ascending order. Okay, all the details has been inserted. And now where is it going to be dropping? Like the instruction said, it says the list displays unique values only. Okay, and data entry is limited only to the ISO code listed. We'll do that when we get to the form. And the ISO code selected is stored in the nationality field in the students table. So that's why here now we're going to be selecting a particular field, nationality field in the students table. This nationality field. Yes, click on next, and I want to finish that. Okay, sorry, I should have changed this name because it says label the new field as country code. Okay, so because I knew definitely they should give us an instruction on what that name should be. So I want to change it to country code. If I come here, this is the label, instead of this, I want to make it country code. Also the same thing here too, I might make it country code, sorry. Select all, highlight it, country code. Then you want to place it in the same location with the rest. Okay, yes. So we have country code and we have nationality as the drop down there. So let's continue. Now place in your evidence document screenshots. Now before we go, we've been able to display in ascending order. For the unique values, obviously when you imported a table, ISO it was set as a primary key. So it's already in the unique values. I know the question did not say anything about the structure, so we likely might be using the structure of the table to prove that the ISO is unique values. Then data entry limited to only ISO. Okay, so to do that, we click back on this, you go to your data, and you want to limit the values to ensure that it does not. So let's look for limit values. You want to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Yes, so limit the list. Yes, so we limit. So it's important we do this to ensure that the list is limited to the code. Here we can see it's source down nationality. Right. Okay, I think we are good to go. So let's take out this. Now that has been done. Now let's check what's placing your evidence document screenshots. Now definitely it's unlike where we had screenshots. Now this is screenshots, meaning that we are expecting more than one screenshots. So screenshots of the following. One, the drop down menu list. So let's go back. We want to go back to our form view. Right, we have that now. Okay, but this is not properly placed. Let me go to my layout to just rearrange it a little bit. Okay, good. Country code. Let's go back to the form view and let's drop down. All right, something like that. I'll prefer it. Let's do a screenshot of that since that's how the sniping. Okay, now I'm going to use my print screen. Okay, with my print screen now, I could just do this. Yes, get a screenshot. Yes, and I want to place it here. Okay, yes, country code showing the drop down. That's what they are particular about. Then the next thing is, now we want to another screenshot, the drop down menu label with the text fully visible. Now also from the last screenshot, we could see the label is country code and it is fully visible. So that's already done in that screenshot. Now data entry controls so that only the unique values are listed. Okay, so let's go back to here. We might need a design view. Click on that, and like we did to limit the list, only unique values are listed. For the unique values, okay, here we want to go back to tables and change here. With this now, it shows that the ISO is a primary key. So this will show that for it to be a primary key, then definitely the unique values have been listed. And if you come down here, we can see unique values listed there. Right, so let me do a screenshot first. We might want to do a two-level screenshot first for this to show that the ISO values is a primary key. So the unique values obviously have been listed. So still within this, drop in another one. Though I might not want to bother, but if you come down here, you could see that we have the unique values also displayed, that unique values have been listed. Okay, but nevertheless, I don't want to use that, so let's just zoom out. With this alone, I think we are okay to display that unique values have been listed. Then we want to go back. The next thing says data entry control limits data that data entry controls to limit data entry to the least options. Yes, we did that from the form. So where's our form? Okay, we are back to our form. Go to our design view. After selecting nationality, so we want to do a screenshot that would show both this and this. So let me do a screenshot to cover the two. So a screenshot should show the selected field and then to show where the list has been limited. Okay, right. So we have dropped in another screenshot. Okay, yes, so you can show this, and from here we can see that the list has been limited to only what we have on the table. And the last thing says the controls apply to save the selected options in the nationality field. Okay, I think even from the last screenshots, it shows from here that this is the nationality field. You can see that. You see the control source nationality field, and we said limit list. Yes, limit to list. So these screenshots can take care of the two of that. So we have a number of screenshots. First, the one for the drop down, showing the drop down. Then we also have the one showing the label of the country code of that field. Then we have another one showing the ISO code as unique values. And lastly, we have another screenshot showing the nationality that displays the limit, and that we have nationality displayed as the source or where the result is going to be dropping to in that table. Right now, lastly, we now want to go to the next question. Says, use the form edited in step 18 to add the following details. Let's check. Are we going to use an evidence document? Okay, so that before we move, so let's begin to insert. We go back to access. Let's go home. We want to go to our form view. Now we need a new form. So we want to clear this. When you click on this with the star to give you a new form. Okay, let's enter. Now we have this to you. Want to copy. In the examination, you would actually be typing this. So you try and ensure that you type the correct values. Please ensure you type the correct data. You check and be sure you don't make any mistake while entering these values. Okay, there we have 16th February. Okay, for the DOB. Then we have ESP. Okay, for this now I have to pick it. Okay, from drop down. Oh, something has gone wrong. Like it's not picking the drop down anymore. So let's save this. And let's go back to the form view now. Now this is displaying an error, not allowing me to enter it. So for what I would advise is just close the whole access when you have such errors. Most of the time it fixes these issues. Yes, want to save everything. Then open access again. If you encounter such issues, then load back last database, enable content. Let's go back to our forms. First, I want to check my students table for that form to be sure that those details have not yet been entered. Okay, here it is. Like it's been entered, but it's not completed. So I want to delete this record from that table. Delete the record. Yes. Okay, saved. Now let's go back to my form. Let's have a new form. Let's re-enter. Because if such situations happen in the exam, students might go worried that what has gone wrong. Let's check my drop down. Yes, now I have my drop down working. Okay, very well. So I want to place this. Okay, let's pick this again. Drop it there. Now let's pick on all of this. Drop the date of birth. Now we have the ESP. Good. ESP. So we pick that. Good. So if you have such situations in the exam, please don't panic. What I advise students is just save what you have done, close access, and open it again. And very likely that you will. Now this is an email address, so I want to be careful so that I don't call up. Alright, so now once that is done, let's take a screenshot of that. Take a screenshot. Beautiful, and let's go to evidence documents and place that there. Very well done. Okay, let's continue on the question. Okay, I think that's about it. So check your data entry form for errors, save the data, place an evidence, screenshot, and I take notice just one of the form with the new record displayed in full. So we've done that, and that is about all for this. So take note of what happened during this particular solution. Whenever access begins to malfunction, sometimes will give such errors that you don't expect. Save all what you have done, the object, close the application, and reload the application, and very likely that issue will be fixed. Alright, on that note, I want to stop here since we are looking at data manipulation. If you like what you've seen and you think it's helpful for you, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that whenever I drop another video, you get notified about it. On that note, till I see you in my next video where we'll be working on presentation, have a nice time. Bye for now.